We in the studio. We in the studio. With Rob in the studio. In the studio. In the studio. Catch a vibe in the studio. In the studio. We in the studio. With Rob. We in the studio. In the studio. We in the studio. Catch a vibe. Yeah, I'm in the studio with Rob. I need to make the heat flicker. Is alone and only thing can make a Rico beat sicker. So listen and get your wisdom gemstones on your head. Tub with the OG like Flintstones, good in bed. Been living a long time and he got something to say. Depending on how you feeling, dog, you might got something to pray. This type of influence that you ain't gotta filter through your liver. We in the studio with Rob. Come let the heat rock simmer.
Hey, what's up, everybody? What's up? Just welcome back to another episode of In the Studio with Rob. Again, I am Rob, and I'd like to thank you for popping in with us for a few minutes here. Hey, once again, I'm in here with my man, Izzle.
Yeah. How you doing today, sir?
Hey, I'm doing well. How you doing, man?
I'm all right. Glad to hear it.
Good. Hey, and you know, today we're going to talk a little bit about men. We're going to talk about us. So, fellas, go get your boys. Make sure they hear it. They listening in. Go get your girl, because she probably need to hear this too. And ladies, if you got a man, go get him. If you don't have a man, listen closely so that when you get a man, you understand what you're dealing with here. So, as we get started, we're going to talk about men. We're going to talk about different types of men. And we're going to talk about a phrase that kind of rubs me the wrong way at times when people say a real man, or you're not a real man, or to be a real man, all those that phrase. Because one of the things it does is usually a negative when people use that. But one of the things I've also noticed is that it's usually used when people don't do, or when a man doesn't do what somebody thinks he should do. Now, let's be honest. Now, if you are an adult male, you are a man. Now, what type of man you are, whole different story, whole different conversation. But you're a real man. You're adult male, you're a real man. It's just the type of man that you are. And that has a lot to do with how you were raised, the influences that you've had in your life. Those things apply and affect the type of man that you are. Like, for me, I grew up with my mother and my sisters. I grew up in a neighborhood where there was no fathers in the neighborhood. So in reality, we would be, it was basically all women and kids, young boys, young girls. But, we didn't have men as, the kind of like, oh, I'm going to be, this guy show us how to do it.
Role models.
Well, not even role models, but just somebody you can look to. I mean, because sometimes it was almost like if you didn't see it on TV, it didn't exist when it came to a man. So we kind of had to, you just kind of figure it out as you go along. My mom, said after I got older, she was like, I didn't know what to do with you. So, she kind of let me, figure things out. And, she just gave me the threats of, don't get in no trouble. You go to jail, you're going to stay there. That kind of thing that scare you a little bit. But learning to be a man, or what type of man, again, growing up, being outside, we played football, basketball, baseball, every sport you can think of, we played outside. And so while we were outside playing sports, some of us were, as we played, some of us was good, some of us wasn't. But it didn't change who we were as we grew up. And, even when I went into the Army, I saw different types of men. There were some brothers in there that were a little bit more timid, a little softer, had, some brothers were, you grow up and you see brothers that are artistic and maybe they could sing or they could dance or, but they're not athletes, they're not aggressive, they're not so-called masculine. But it didn't change that they were a man, they were just different. And I think what happens in our society is that, we have this idea a lot of times that if a man isn't masculine or if he's not, a certain way, then he's not a real man. But in reality, He is a real man. He's just not the same type of man as somebody that you may be looking for or that you think about as a man, but he's still real and he's still a man. So I think, we have to start looking at men and understanding that we are all different and unique in our manhood. We're not going to be the same way. I'm not going to be the same way as all the brothers I meet, or and my sons aren't going to be. All my sons aren't going to be like me. They're going to be different, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But I think one of the things we have to understand is that we have to stop allowing other people to define you. If you like the opera, if you like plays, and you're a dude, then that's fine. It's nothing wrong with that. Because again, that's part of, who you are. Now, the same way I wouldn't want anybody to judge you for liking plays and being, the way you are, you shouldn't be judging nobody else either. Because I think that goes both ways with us. People that always talk about, don't judge me, always the first ones to judge. So again, you got to remember that. But again, what is a man? Again, a man is just an adult male. He has feelings, he got emotions, just like everybody else. But the difference is we're sometimes taught how to control our emotions and our feelings. Sometimes we're not. But again, a man is just an adult male. And that's as simple as it gets. Now, the complications come in when you talk about what type of man, the different types of men. One of the things I saw and I heard this guy was talking about, he guess he was doing a study on guys in prison, and he was like, a lot of the men in prison are there because they were raised by women and they had the emotional control of women. And what I mean by that is that as a man, one of the things we are generally good at, or in most cases, or should be, is that you control your emotions a little differently than females do. So we may not cry as much, or we may not respond the same way, or we shouldn't be responding the same way women do. But when you're raised by women and their influence is so heavily in you, sometimes you respond the way they do. And so, what the guy was saying was how when the men in jail, a lot of them they responded off of their emotions versus off of their intellect, or off of using the logic that a man usually taps into first. So what we have to do as older men is try to help the young men understand that there's nothing wrong with crying, there's nothing wrong with having those emotions, but you have to have control over your emotions too. And you can't just respond in a way that makes you, one, put you in jeopardy, puts other people around you in jeopardy, physical harm or even emotional harm. You got to control your emotions a little bit. And so I think one of the things that we do, or that we should be doing, especially as older men, is trying to help young guys understand sometimes it ain't that deep, bruh. You got to just, let it go.
There's a certain power in being able to control your emotions.
It is huge power. One of the things about power, there's a difference, I think, what young men and men in general don't understand. There's a difference between power and strength. Power is controlling a situation. Strength responds to that situation. Now, if you got power and you walk in power, you are controlling your environment. You are in controlling what happens around you and to you. Other people don't control that. Your strength says, this is what your strength will do. If you're only walking in strength, is when something happens, you respond to it, and usually you respond to it with violence or force. because you're walking in strength and not power. Power would say, even no matter what you said or did, it's not going to force me to act a certain way. I'm going to do what I know is right to do, and where I control the situation regardless of your response. So that's when I walk in power and not in strength. Again, sometimes you need some strength, so don't get me wrong. I ain't saying don't ever use your strength, but even with that, your power is controlling your strength. So you got to make sure you don't get so caught up in your emotions and so caught up in your feelings that you can't control the environment that you're in. I had the conversation with one of my sons before that, he would get upset when people said things or did things. And he's always, why do you let people control you? Nobody don't control me. I'm my own. No, you do. You letting them control your feelings, your emotions, man. So if they so-called disrespect you, you respond in a way to get the respect back. But you ain't really getting the respect back. What you're doing is you're responding out of the strength that you got, as opposed to the power that you should have controlled the whole conversation and the whole situation.
And a lot of times that comes from ego, I feel like.
Well, and you look, that's one of our biggest problems as men. Sometimes is our ego, our pride. We let it get in the way because we kind of walk in that, how dare you say this to us? Or how dare you do that to us? I'm better. It's like, bro, who are you? It ain't that deep, man. So you allow something as small as an ego turn your life upside down and get you in so much trouble, as opposed to saying, I'm more powerful than my ego and even my pride. I'm more powerful, so I'm going to control that situation. I'm going to control everything that's going on because I got that power to do that. And then once you start doing that, your ego takes a back seat. And you have less problems and troubles with things that's going on. So again, so you got to make sure you walk in that power. Walk in that power. Think about your power. Also, men. So sometimes we look at stuff and we like, all right, when I get caught up into my, my ego and my feeling, I want to fight. I'm going to fight and I'm going to prove my manhood, so to speak. But when in reality, you fight to defend yourself, not your pride or your ego. You shouldn't be fighting to defend your pride and your ego. If you got to defend yourself, do your thing. I ain't never telling a brother not to fight because I grew up that way and we fought. But it's in defense of myself, my family, my children. I will fight to defend that. But just because you say something to me that hurt my feelings or you think hurt my feelings, that's not a reason to fight. So I got to make sure I'm walking and acting with some logic in my life and not emotion controlling my life. So even like you hear men, people talk about, all right, a real man this and real man that, they about like, if you was a real man, you wouldn't, you pay your child support. Something that simple. Okay, he a real man. He just not a very good father, or he's not very good with his money because he ain't paying his child support. Don't mean he's not a real man. He might be, you got these kids or young men that's out on the corner selling drugs or doing drugs, beating people, whatever they do. They still are men if they're of age and, growing into it, but they may be knuckleheads. Every man is not a good man. And that's the difference. It's not that you're not real, but you may not be good. So
he's still a man. He's just a terrible person.
Yeah. So we got to work on you being a good man, being good, being a person that's worthy of other people being in your life. And that's something that you can be taught. I don't believe that any person is lost cause. I think if you want to change, and then you can change. You may need some help. You got to get around some people. You got to hear some things and talk to some people that's going to help you change, but you can change. Same brothers that was out on the corner selling drugs, that was in gangs and doing all that, a lot of them turned their life around and doing some great things. So it can change, but you have to want to change. Nobody else ain't going to change you. Your girlfriend, no matter what she say, is not going to make you a better man. Because she ain't never been a man, first of all. If you want to be a better man, get around some men that are able to teach you how to live a life of responsibility and a life of that helps people as opposed to tear people down. That builds up communities as opposed to build or tearing them down. But you got to be around other solid men, good men, to help you learn to do those things. But just because you're not doing it, don't mean you're not a man. It just means that you got some problems and you need to work on your issues. So, ladies, stop telling your dude when you get mad at him, or your baby daddies and all other stuff, exes, that he ain't a real man. He is a real man. You know what's funny is that, you know, if a man says to a woman, you ain't a real woman, that would go viral. It would be one of the things where women would eat men alive, talking about you don't define what a woman is. But yet women always want to try to define what a man is. We are men. Good, bad, issues, no issues, or very few issues, crazy, not crazy. We still men. We just like you, we flawed. So you can't, the problem, I think what happens is that women sometimes, when you try to find a man, one, you out of your element, because you shouldn't be finding no man, he should find you. But when you try to find a man and you mess up and pick some knucklehead, then you try to paint this broad brush of men ain't no good, or he ain't no real man, or this ain't no whatever. But it was your fault. Because one, you didn't even know what a real man was. Because if you did, you would have understood that he's a man, but he's just a bad man, and I need to stay clear of him. He's a man, but he's an irresponsible man, so I need to stay clear of him. He's a man, but he's a dangerous man, so I need to stay clear of him. But the problem is, because you didn't understand what it was, what a man is really supposed to be doing and acting like, you went into it because he looked good. He was a fine man. He was a cute man. He was a handsome man. He was a man with money. Yeah, you looked at all those things, but then it blew up in your face. So one, stop looking for men. Let the man find you. Prepare yourself to be found, and stop looking and searching because you don't know what you're doing. So that's an issue when you talk about, what a man is. And look, we struggle, and when I say we, I mean older men struggle with helping young men develop themselves into that good man, responsible man, taking care of business. It's a struggle with us trying to help them grow into it. What make you think you could do it? If he ain't ready, he ain't ready. But don't mean he's not a man, or it may not even mean he's not a good man. It may he's just not ready yet. He needs somebody to help him grow. So again, like I got 4 sons. They at different stages in their life, but are they men? Yes, I raised men. Do they have some challenges? Yes. I got challenges. But it don't change that we men. Now, one of the things I think what's going to set me apart from a lot of other men and set my sons apart is that, one, I try to teach them responsibility. And we're going to talk about responsibility a little later, but, the role that they have as a man, but it doesn't change that they are men. So again, don't try to degrade or bring down somebody by just saying what you are or what you're not, because they are men. So just make sure you're a part of it. So, it's kind of like, all right, what are the things that makes a man? There's only one thing that really makes a man, and that's being an adult. So now you're a man. But I guess the thing of it is, what makes a good man? And that varies in a lot of cases. A lot of people can explain that or have different ideas of a good man. But to me, a good man is a man that's going to take care of his responsibilities, that's going to make sure, is going to, take care of his family, his community. He's going to be a man that's trying to uplift people as opposed to tear them down. And he's a man of faith in my mind. If he ain't a man of faith, then not to say that he's a bad man, but he gonna have some issues. Got to believe in something. So now, what faith you are, I'll leave that to you to choose. We won't get into that right now. But you got to believe in something. And so we have to make sure that we kind of making sure that we're not just going out here acting like everything is, just one size fit all, or either you a real man or not a real man, and then you can't even explain what a real man is even to you.
I feel like that statement always comes out of like a place of manipulation. Like it's always a super specific statement to their situation. Like, oh, real men like girls with glasses. And the girl that said it happened to wear glasses. No, girl, I just don't like girl. I don't like you. Like, I can't have my preferences. It's always got to be something specific to making that man feel like he's not a man if he doesn't do what you want him to do, or feel, or like, or prefer whatever you want him to prefer or feel or like.
Right, and again, it goes back to the same thing where I said, if we did that to a woman, it would be, the internet will blow up. Talking about you again, about how you're trying to control women. But yet, they want to, you have women, especially on the internet, would talk about what a real man would do. A real man, would fight would lay down his life for his wife or for a woman. Well,
okay, I have questions.
How close are we? To one level down my life.
Who's the woman?
Yeah, you talking about my wife, who I've been married to for years, or you talking about a girl that I met and we went out on a date? Look, we might have to talk about that. So, but again, it doesn't change. He still doesn't mean he's not a real man. So
maybe he don't want to die yet.
Yeah,
maybe he's not real.
And maybe I've seen this one thing where say this lady said, "Oh, a man." It was on the internet. And she was talking about how her boyfriend didn't defend her when a guy called her, said she had a big butt, or she had a nice butt, or whatever he said about her butt. But her boyfriend didn't say anything. She was mad and yelling at him in the car. He was like, "Yo, it was four of them, and two of them had guns. What you want me to do?" And he was like, "You were supposed to fight for me." And I'm like, first of all, and she actually used the term, if you was a real man, you would have. No, he would have been a dead man. That's all. They would have beat him down, pistol whipped him, and then you would have been looking at him like, "Oh my God, I got him through." Look, a real man, an intelligent man would figure out this ain't the time to get involved with that. We don't need to fight. They ain't touch you. They just said something. Let's keep it moving because this is right. Hey, so sometimes you have to be an intelligent man and understand this ain't the. Look, me fighting for you, it sounds good in principle, but what if he can't fight? Then he gonna get beat up. You gonna try to jump in, and you can get smacked too. So sometimes you gotta understand the man that you with. He ain't a fighter. So that's okay though. Every man ain't a boxing man. Every man ain't a wrestling man. Some men use their brain to get out of trouble, which all of us should, but some are very good at that. But don't look down on him because he ain't putting his hands up to get into something. Because usually them same dudes that put their hands up really quick will put their hands on you. So you got to be careful. Be careful what you ask for. But again, it doesn't change that this person that you're with is a man. And that's all I want y'all to understand. Stop trying to use or belittle men because they don't act the way you think they should act at a certain time. Because what happens is, in the middle of an argument, you'll say, you ain't a real man because you did X, Y, and Z. But then when I do that, if it's something else we arguing about, you'll change and say, well, if you're a real man, you wouldn't be coming at me like that. Hold up, you wanted me to stand up and be aggressive. Now you don't. So again, be careful what you ask for. But men, more importantly for you, don't let nobody, women or nobody else, can tell you when you should step outside of who you are. Be who you are.
Well said.
And then then find you a woman that will accept who you are. So I can't go out here and I'm just like, yo, I don't like violence. I only like people yelling. So if that's the case, why I'm getting with a woman that yell all the time or loud, and their family is loud, everybody. So maybe I'm like, yo, this ain't probably the relationship I need to be in, because they're a little different than what I want. But don't change because of that. Don't change who you are to fit into somebody else's small-minded view of what you should be as a man.
Yeah, and off romanticism, like just anybody, just family, friends, whoever else. Yeah, a lot of people will try to dictate who or how you should be based off what they expect.
Yeah,
want from you.
Because again, you have to be your own individual first of all. But again, it doesn't change who you are as a man. But again, it is something where we talk about your individuality has to be real to you. And if you can walk with confidence in who you are, then you will be a better man for whoever you get with. Whatever friend you have, whatever girlfriend you have, whatever wife you have, whatever work relationship you have, you will be better when you are confident in who you are and not try to fit into somebody else's small box of what a man should be or shouldn't be off of their limited view. So be confident in who you are. And then walk in that. But also, if you're not confident in who you are, or if you're not a good man, find some people, some older men that can help you grow, so you can be an asset to your community, to your relationships, as opposed to a detriment. Get around some brothers, or call some brothers that you think you know or you might know a little older, and say, yo, I need to grow. I'm not treating my wife or my girlfriend well. I don't treat women well. I don't treat other men well. I don't treat people well. But I need to grow. How do I get there? And let somebody help mentor you into being a better man. Not being a real man, being a better man. Let somebody mentor you into that. And don't just assume that because you 40, 50 years old, that you ain't got some room to grow as well. Because I know I do. I tell people all the time, over the last couple of years, I've grown so much. It's amazing to me sometimes on the way I think about things, the way I respond to things. And that's come from me just, being around some good brothers and talking and praying and really trying to understand who I am and why I do certain things to make things better.
Thank you. I try to guide you as best I can.
Yeah, I appreciate that. It's been a great help. So sometimes you see your flaws in your sons, and you're like, yo, I need to be better. So it's like, yo, that's growth. I have to continue to grow. You continue to grow until you go. And you out of this place. So make sure you're growing, young men, older men, whatever. Continue to grow. Continue to seek help. Continue to seek other brothers to help build you up. Bible talks about iron sharpening iron. Hey, get around some brothers that's strong and let them help sharpen you up a little bit so that you can be strong in whatever area you're trying to be strong in. And one thing I'll tell you though, is as you're around these other older guys or more mature guys in certain ways or better in certain ways, you'll be amazed at how much you add to their life as well. Because I think a lot of times people go on the assumption that I don't want nobody because they'll be looking down on me. Nah, you're going to bring something to the table. You're going to make them think about some things they've been doing too. So don't just assume you just in it for a lesson. You're going to give something even if you're not trying to. Just the fact that your life experience is different from theirs, they will gain something out of it. So don't be afraid to share as well. So again, I just want, hopefully with this conversation, we can get past that whole, real man stuff and stop, looking down. Because I know some of you, women have, single mothers may have some young sons, and, don't question him growing up. Help him as much as you can, but get him a mentor, get him a man to be around so he can help him grow into a good man, into a responsible man. And just try to be more aware of the words we use and how we use them to bring people down.
Real men give their oldest sons $100,000.
Yeah, see that? So yeah, I wouldn't be a real man because I ain't doing that. so I'm good. See,
I define me.
see that whole. I'm confident in myself. I'm confident enough to know I'm good without giving them that money. So we'll be okay. In the meantime, people, hey, anything from the people? We got anything from the people? Just wanted to make sure before we charge out.
Yeah, you know what? I think we actually do. Let me check here. Mailer. So, yep, we do. We have something from, this is from Glendale.
Glendale. Is that a guy or a girl? Do we know?
It just says Glendale.
Okay, all right.
I don't know.
Depending on how the question read, we're going to decide if you're male or female. But go ahead. What does Glendale say?
So, Glendale asks, what do men go through trying to develop younger men?
What do they go through? So I'm assuming that might even be a mother. But whoever Glendale, what we go through, and if I understand your question correctly, it's really not about going through as much as it's about conversation. We need to have, as older men and talking to younger men, we can have a conversation in a way that you may not. We have, we talk differently when we talking to men. Other men, it's just the way it is. We have real conversations that aren't sugar coated, and it can be hard and raw. But those are things that help, I think, us to connect first. And then once we're able to connect, then we're able to teach, and not in a school type of way, but in a hey, this is what I went through, because I'm going to share my life with that young man so he understands, one, the things he's going through, it's not that foreign. It ain't like he the only one that ever went through it. So those type of that bond that we build will ultimately help to point him in a different direction and help him grow and see his life outside of the small way or the small vision that he had with it. So it's really not about anything special other than building a relationship and building a connection, and then trying to be honest with him so he knows that you're not on an island by yourself. Everything you're going through, other men went through. We all go through it in some way or another. You might have some unique experiences, but ultimately how we respond is pretty universal. So hopefully that helps you, Glendale. Male, female, I don't know, mother, father, whatever.
Thanks, ambiguous Glendale.
Yeah, so that helped out. We good. So with that said, we're gonna wrap this episode up. Hey, next episode we're gonna talk about responsibility of men and the roles and responsibility. So it's gonna tune back in with us. So I hope you guys got something out of this. If you did, please like, subscribe, And the other thing, I think it's 3 of them.
Nope, just do never.
Oh, just like and subscribe. All right, so like and subscribe. And again, if y'all got comments, put the comments out there, and we will try to respond to your comments as well. And again, I really appreciate you guys tuning in with us. It's been fun. And
hey, do we have any new countries visiting?
We actually, if I didn't tell Germany, we had Germany tuned in. So I appreciate you, Germany. Shout out to Germany, the Dutchland. So Danke, we appreciate you. And I think I said we had Ireland and
DR.
And the DR and Russia. So hey. So we appreciate you guys, and so hey, and we had LA too. I mean, so shout out to LA. I know they're going through a lot right now with the fires, but stay safe. So as y'all staying safe, we pray that you guys are well out there. So again, appreciate everybody that's listening, and we keep doing this, and you guys keep tuning in. Tell a friend, and we'll see where it goes. Until later. This is in the studio, and we appreciate you guys.
Gotta go. Bye.
Peace.